Okay, Ronnie.
Erik, is Tyler going to travel on a 3-game trip coming up, leaving
We'll
tonight?
let you know, but we're making progress.
Is Tyler going to be back before the end of the regular season?
We will let you know.
I know the focus of this season in the NBA as a whole has been the offense, but since you guys have been in the top 5 now, is it defensive efficiency? Do you think that separates the good teams from the great teams, especially when the playoff atmosphere is getting heater?
We tried to simplify, several weeks ago, actually a few months ago, and just really try to rally around that, just to stabilize things while we had moving parts. It's also, what we take pride in, as an organization. You do have to do things well on both sides of the floor, as we know, and we've been making some strides offensively as well, and we still have some room for growth there.
I know you had a chance to chat with Kyle after the game in Philly, but when you're in the throes of it, I can't imagine you've had a ton of time to reflect, but what did his 2.5 years, what was his impact? What's the fingerprint he left behind from his time here?
Yeah, we had a lot of wins. We had a lot of playoff success, and that's why, Kyle's a throwback. You can't just look at his numbers or his points per game or whatever. It's the impact that he has on winning, and he did that. The first year was a great year. Regular season was great, and we were 1 game away from getting to the finals, and even last year. He had a massive impact in the playoffs in a different role, coming off the bench, and very few players can do that, in 2 different kinds of roles. But the relationships that we created, it'll transcend, these times, But he's a competitor, we're competitors, so we're able to put that to the side, and get after it.
Coach, how does seeing yourself in a playoff position influence this team mentality right now?
The playoff race? Yeah. I think it's fun. I think it's really good for the league. I think it's great for players. I just want our guys to embrace all this, every part of it. When you really get thrown into the competitive cauldron that is the playoff race in both conferences right now, you can't hide from anything. It's going to bring out a lot of different emotions. It's much different than before the play-in, where you had a lot of teams that would just disappear, 3 months before the end of the season. You have a lot more teams going for it. And I just love that competitive nature. You need a whole lot more of it everywhere, across the board. High school, forget about AAU, colleges, forget about all the transfer portals and all that stuff. You can't run from it. You have to embrace the tough things, and there's a little bit less competitiveness all across the board, and this is actually bringing out kind of an old school competitiveness. I think it's really cool.
Coach, along those lines, the fact that you woke up this morning and the team was in 6th place, does that change anything mentally speaking? I mean, when you got to the building today, does it add anything? Does it change anything? Or?
We're aware of things. We're in hunt mode, chase mode right now. We're not in obsession mode of looking at the standings. We see opportunity in front of us, but that old adage, you have to live in the present moment. That's where we are right now. We have to focus on this game tonight. It's going to be very competitive. Both teams know what's up. There's no surprises here. And, you just, years later, you're going to miss these kind of, competitive games.
Obviously, you faced Philly 3 times before this season. No Embiid. There's a chance he could come back. We'll see about the official status. But obviously, what does he just add to, even if he's not 100% at full health, what does he add to?
Yeah, he's still a major challenge. And you saw it the other night, 29 minutes, but especially down the stretch, he puts a tremendous amount of pressure on your defense to contain him, to disrupt him, and to do all of these things without fouling. He's extremely skilled. If you just leave him alone, he's going to score at an extremely high rate. If you bring second defenders, he knows how to turn those into fouls or manipulate the defense in a different way. And, we're well aware of that. At this point of the season and what we're trying to do, you can't expect it to be easy. And that's the beauty of it.
Erik, obviously every team is different from last year to the year before or whatever, but last year obviously you're in a similar situation where you are now, standings-wise. At the end of the season, you're able to go on a deep run in the playoffs. What gives you confidence about the current group you've got that you can do the same thing?
Yeah, I feel like you asked me this question 2 weeks ago, right? You just slightly changed it. I respect that. It doesn't. Last year's last year. Can we pull up the tape on my answer? I want to see if I get it similar. But no, it's really because the team is different. The landscape is different. This journey is different. Maybe somewhere in the back of our minds, there's a certain feeling about that. But we're going for it, and the unknown, I think, is the beauty of this. That's what competition is. We're putting ourselves out there in a vulnerable way. We're going for it. We want to make the playoffs, and not just be a play-in team. And, we'll see, what happens with these last 7 games. But this is extremely competitive, and I want our players to embrace that. And hopefully, the whole idea with competition is hopefully it brings out a higher level of play. We need to get to a higher level, and hopefully this elevated level of competition can get us to, that place that we want to get to. All right, cool. Thanks.